I am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
I could be here for another hour.
And then I was talking to my class. There were only 2 of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Or call it Google.
Yeah. We're in control. Alexa, how did you get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year round, I might as well get paid year round.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Welcome back, everyone, to our weekly podcast here at Sweet Talk. I am, as always, your host, Paul Dickey. Why am I stumbling this morning, Gary? I'm Paul Dickey.
Not enough
right
coffee.
Here. I'm your co-host, Paul Dickey. I'm the video instruction manager and apprenticeship coordinator here at Sweet. And as always, who might do a better job at the introduction part than me today is Gary Salazar, our director. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Paul. Thank you very much. Great intro. Love that once again. Super job. Just take a little more coffee before we get on next time. Everybody.
Super job.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to have a great podcast today. Angela Wilhelm is our marketing coordinator, and Angela's been helping us set up a couple of these. And this one in particular, she helped bring together. Angela, are you doing all right today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Gary. I hope you guys are doing well as well. Today, we have a special guest with us. We have Dr. Alex Bolinger, who's a professor at Idaho State University's College of Business, and he is a professor of marketing and management. Welcome, Alex. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your background?
Well, thank you all for this opportunity to join you. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So yes, I'm a faculty member here in the College of Business at ISU. I did my doctorate at the University of Utah, the David Eccles School of Business, and started my career in the Penn State system, one of the branch campuses outside of Philadelphia. Had the chance to come back here to Pocatello and just couldn't pass it up. And it's been just a fantastic journey. And I think that I'm now in my 10th year here at ISU.
Wow.
So,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite a journey all the way out to Penn and back to here. I'm like, Jiminy, that's pretty neat.
So, Alex, did you start in Utah and go to Philadelphia, or were you an Idaho resident?
I am, yeah. I'm a native of Idaho. Grew up in American Falls, so
okay.
Locally. Yeah, did my undergraduate and master's work here at ISU, and so it was a kind of a, it's one of those things where you think, wow, it'd be great to be able to come back here and contribute in the way that I've enjoyed learning from the faculty here, but you never think it could actually happen. And to have that opportunity has been it's been fantastic, beyond what I could have expected.
Yeah, I'm from the East Coast. When I moved here, I found that we have a lot of great faculty and staff and people in the community who went out and got their education, out of state and just wanted to come back because they're all their family here. So we benefit, thank you so much. We benefit from you coming back home.
Yeah, that's great. So you're in the College of Business, and you're teaching in marketing and management. What kinds of courses are you teaching right now?
So right now I'm teaching everything from first semester freshmen to last semester Masters of Business Administration students. So it's kind of the whole gamut. For the first semester freshmen, we teach an introduction to business class, and it's sort of all of the different parts of business, kind of introducing them to what it takes to run a business. We do a simulation, so they actually get experience running their own business without risking their own money, is what we tell them.
You do a simulation, like a Monopoly game kind of a thing, or what?
Yeah, very, very similar in some ways, but it's a computerized simulation. They have to make decisions about marketing spends and finance, how they're going to pay for it all. they do production on sensors, so the kinds of things that you find in any electronic gadget. They can do low end or high end kinds of things. So it's a really comprehensive, great way to kind of get their feet wet.
And now, don't you guys have a competition for that as well?
We do, yeah. So the other part of that class is we have them each put together a pitch. They come up with an idea for a potential product that they would be interested in, potentially selling. And they come up with an entrepreneurial pitch. And actually next week, they're going to be competing. And Dr. Jeff Street, who's with the SEED program here at ISU, he's gotten supporters, and they're actually cash prizes that go to the winners. So it's a really sort of full cycle thing.
That's kind of like that
Some
Shark Tank show that we see. Is that that is so neat? And after the students go through this and they have a chance to win some prizes, is that just local here? Or do they go on to other competitions outside of the university?
Yeah, it's true. There are a couple of regional competitions, and then there's also the Idaho Entrepreneur Challenge in Boise on an annual basis. And so, what we tell our students is if they were to win at every level, they could have up to $30,000 to help start their new business.
Oh,
wow. That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's pretty cool. And so you must get a lot of students who want to jump in on that one.
Yeah. It really is something that attracts a lot of interest.
Well, cool. So, and would you classify that as maybe it's a hybrid of the two? Is that marketing or is that management class? Or
It's
is it
interesting.
both?
Yeah, it does. It really does kind of cross over. It's really their first exposure to all the different fields of business. With the graduate students, I'm teaching a class on negotiation and decision making, and that's much more of a management leadership kind of class. So.
Well, that's cool. I'd like to talk to you about that offline. That sounds fascinating. What a cool thing to get into or end up here at the university. So we're really here to talk about something that's kind of unique that you've proposed. It looks like you have a class that is an actual class within the College of Business, and you want to offer it to our community coming up in this next semester. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. Do you mind if I explain a little bit about
Please.
it?
What is the
Yes.
title of that class, and could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, for sure. Well, so the title is The Future of Leadership. And the work has kind of come, I do some consulting for organizations locally and sort of statewide. And the conversations that people are having are the conversations that are in the news right now. Things like, record low unemployment and quiet quitting, the great resignation, also the move to remote and hybrid work, the whole changing nature of work. And it's a real leadership challenge. Many of the things that we sort of took for granted before the pandemic now suddenly don't make as much sense. And so the premise of this class is, what does leadership look like now? And how do we address and navigate some of these challenges while still preserving organizational culture and still engaging employees in a meaningful way? So that's kind of the background behind it.
Wow, that's got to be so timely. I mean, with businesses dealing with all those variables you just mentioned and having to drive revenue, trying to keep their businesses afloat. Do you lay people off? Do you change what you do? I mean, that kind of a class sounds like every business would want to have some information from that. So this is a class you currently teach. It's a 4-credit class in the College of Business, but you want to invite folks from the community to come in and do that as well. Can you tell me how is that going to work if somebody's interested? How are they going to enroll if they're not an ISU student?
Right. Well, so the enrollment is through ISU Continuing Education, and I'm delighted by this opportunity to have this partnership with you all. This is such a great opportunity. And the class is going to meet for 8 weeks every Thursday night, starting January 12th through March 2nd. And it will be from 5:30 to 8:00 p.m. And each week we'll talk about a different topic that's related to some of these pieces, with a special emphasis on some of the really timely topics that are aligned with our special guest. So I think the thing that I'm probably the most excited about with this class is that on February 16th, we are inviting to Pocatello Dr. Anthony Klotz. And he was the faculty, he was the person who predicted the Great Resignation and actually coined the term. in an interview with Forbes magazine. And it's, as you know, it's gone viral. It's taken off, and he's become an in-demand speaker worldwide. And he's also an old friend of mine, and he's doing us a favor, and he's coming to Pocatello, and he's going to be giving some presentations around town. And one of the things I'm just incredibly excited about is he's going to give a master class for the students in this particular class. So
for one evening, one day that week on that, you said the 16th, he's going to be there. That is awesome. What a great guest you're going to have.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So that is going to be the class. And is that a live class or is that an online class? How is that structured?
It is, yeah. So it's in person. It's here on the Pocatello campus in the Business Administration building, on the 4th floor, room 402. So one of our newly remodeled rooms within the college, which has been a great thing, an initiative that our dean, Dr. Shane Hunt, has really been working hard on. So, and yeah, it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. There will be a mix of students, graduate students, and a few undergraduate students. And we're hoping to also invite members of the community so that we get sort of this really broad conversation, and that people can network with and learn from each other, and we can kind of collectively figure out how to make sense of this new future that we're moving into.
Wow, it is very timely. I was just having a conversation with colleagues myself just on this very subject. The fact that because of the pandemic, a lot of people reevaluated their work environment. And it goes in the face of also a lot of people retiring out and everyone needing to recruit new workforce. How do you do that when they have so many options, and also they want to have a higher quality of life, meaning that they want to have more time at home? And that's, I think, the reason why a lot of them are attracted to the remote working. But since some of us are older and we have a different supervisory style that we're used to watching or having that face-to-face communication. So I'm really kind of interested in how that conversation goes.
Right. And I think it'll be interesting, to your point, because there may not be any single right answer, right? What works for one organization or even one unit may not work for another. But I think that we're in a moment now where leadership has to be versatile. And one of the really key points we're going to talk about, and one of the things that anyone who takes this class will have the opportunity to reflect on, is sort of what are your leadership strengths, but also what are your go-to tendencies that could potentially be overused, or that could potentially not be as helpful, right, in this sort of new environment? And how do you factor in that flexibility without losing who you are as a leader? So we'll talk a lot about those kinds of topics.
Very, very timely. I mean, for anybody in the community, anybody who's in a business or having a business or thinking about a business, it seems like it would be an invaluable sit-in to be a part of. I mean, not just the exchange of ideas, but the exchange of, hey, here's an idea. Now, how could I implement this in my business? So everybody who's there might have, hey, what do you think I would do for this if I'm in a franchise business, or if I'm in a banking business, or I'm in the automotive business? How do we deal with this here for me? The opportunity to have those conversations, Alex, that is so cool. What a grand idea. What made you think of offering this to the community?
Well, so I have to first credit my dean, Dr. Shane Hunt, who has just done some amazing things in our community and within the College of Business. He started a series this year where there's some funding from some donors to bring in scholars from other locations around the country, and in our case, internationally. And so he was put out sort of a call for people we'd be interested in inviting. And I had mentioned Dr. Anthony Klotz, who is a former co-author and a good friend. And I thought, gosh, what are the chances of him coming to Pocatello from London? But Dr. Hunt was on board from the beginning, and we worked things out. And Anthony is a fantastic person and incredibly generous. And so anyway, he was willing to make the trip. And from there, we decided, this is pretty special. When you have the go-to person for CNBC, Forbes magazine, Fortune magazine, just pretty much any popular press media outlet right now, when it comes to anything around the Great Resignation and sort of the future of work, to have someone like that in Pocatello, we've got to leverage that opportunity and make sure that we can disseminate it to the local community and the local business community. And so that was sort of the entire class grew out of that sort of initial insight.
Wow. Wow.
That's special. Boy, is that very nice. What a great idea. What a super way to bring that together. Shan Hun has done an awful lot already in a short time here, especially with Chick-fil-A, but everything else that he does is just awesome. And we've had a nice association with him, and really, really happy that we can help support this too. We're going to help do some good marketing with our community and get that word out, because I think this would be extremely beneficial to a lot of our businesses. And it might draw from around us too, as far as, folks coming out of Salt Lake, University of Utah and all. That name draw is going to bring in some greater appeal. Thank you for setting that up, Alex. Thank you for all that college business is doing there. I'm really happy to do that and work with you, and I want to know more about that. Before we get off that topic, though, are there any prerequisites for anybody in the community who might want to come into this class?
That's a great question. And the way we've set it up is that no prerequisites required. And in fact, you don't have to be an ISU student. You can take this course through continuing education, without necessarily being enrolled as a full-time or part-time student.
Great. Boy, that continuing education unit. Those guys do great stuff too. I really like those guys. That's me patting ourselves on the back, you guys. Super job. Great partnership there. You do a lot, and you've been doing it for 10 years there. And now you're at this point. Certainly you've had some challenges and some great experiences as you've grown in that now, Professor. Thank you very much. Are there any fabulous experiences that you'd like to share with us, or good times that you've had with the students or the programs?
Well, I think one of the things that has struck me the most about my time at ISU is that the people here are so open to new ideas. One of the things when I came in, I said, I'd like to try initiatives, what I call signature experiences, right? These kinds of things that students get, where it's not just being in the classroom, but it's also having the chance to do stuff that sort of goes beyond, sort of their time at ISU, and something they can look back on fondly and take pride in, and that also sort of facilitates their careers. And so what I love about the College of Business is that the answer is rarely no. Sometimes the answer is, let's investigate, right, if this is feasible. I think one of the experiences that has been a real highlight for me for the last 7 or 8 years, we've had student teams from our MBA program who've competed in the International Collegiate Business Strategy Competition, which is out of Anaheim, California. And we've been competing against teams that come from as far away as China, England. And what it is, it's basically a large-scale computerized simulation where teams on a weekly basis make quarterly decisions from January until April. And then in April, we spend 48 hours. We fly down to Anaheim. Everyone's in a hotel, and we make basically 2 years worth of decisions within 48 hours. So it's this really intensive bonding experience. And then there are judges that are brought in from companies around Southern California who serve as the board of directors and basically ask our students to justify what they've done, and why should we rehire you as our management team.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
really
it's pretty
cool.
remarkable. Yeah.
Wow.
Paul, that sounds a little bit like gaming to me. They're playing games, they're simulating games, they're doing data, they're using all sorts of digital stuff. There, if you don't know, Paul's thinking about doing a whole gaming conference here later on next year, and there's a whole lot of opportunity in that, both in workforce decision making things as well as entertainment.
That's great.
So, Alex, one thing I definitely see the excitement you have about this upcoming program, and especially your guest speaker. The enthusiasm that you're showing is amazing. So how did you meet this gentleman?
So he was originally a faculty member at Oregon State, and I met him through some connections with other colleagues. He's incredibly generous, and I'll tell you just a quick story that sort of illustrates that. So I had a paper that I submitted to sort of the top journal in our field I'm not expecting to get even a revise and resubmit, which is sort of the first step. And by some miracle, I got to that point, but I had no experience with how do you get it over the finish line? You know, how do you respond to comments and make that happen? And so I reached out to my colleagues and they recommended Anthony, and he dropped the other things that he was doing and he worked with me, came on as a co-author, and we were able to get it across the finish line and get it published. And that was a game-changing moment in my career. And just, you know, his willingness to share his expertise, it just really shows what a generous, great person he is. So.
Very, very
Excellent,
cool.
excellent.
You know, that points a lot to how many people, you know, in businesses need to have the collaborations, the network, the communications, the mentorships, you know, those folks who have the great relationships that can help us all succeed in what we're trying to do. And the ability to say, hey, can you help? You know, sometimes that escapes some of us, but it sounds like you found a good one there. And that was a remarkable, great event for you. And you're bringing it back here full circle, where he's coming back to the university. He's going to be working with you and your students again. So kudos to you for that. Hey, you know, we're getting close to the end of our podcast, Paul and Angela. What we want to do at the end of all of these, Alex, is we want to make sure that we give our guest the opportunity to tell people out there, if they're interested, if they want to hear more, get more information, how would they get in touch with you, or where would they call, or send an email to? Would you be so good as to tell somebody out there, if they wanted to do that, here's the best way?
Sure, yes, absolutely. So I'm always available via email and on my email constantly. And my email address is my full name, which I guess it's in the little corner box here. So you can just incorporate that. My full name at isu.edu. So that's probably the easiest way to reach me. You can also reach me via my extension here at ISU, or my number. So area code 208, then 282-6242.
Great. And for the benefit of those who are listening to the podcast, that's Alex Bolinger. I'll spell it out, AlexBolinger at isu.edu. Thank you very much. So grateful to have you on and talking about this fabulous initiative from the College of Business. Paul, you probably heard the timer go off.
I know it always surprises me. It always goes by so quickly. Hey, thank you so much for being our guest today, Alex. Angie, always a pleasure. And Gary, I can't do this without you, man. I can't do this without you.
We are the great team, the three of us. So really appreciate what you guys bring to this. Thanks again to Professor Alex Bolinger for what he's doing. For those of you who listen to it, this is the Future of Leadership course coming up this coming semester, offered to our community. Great ideas to be put out by a great course, and also very, very special guest who's got some national reputations with Forbes magazine. That was a Dr. Anthony Kautz, and we look forward to more conversations like this. Alex, we look forward to kind of supporting you with this class, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think that's about it. You want to close this up, Paul?
I will close us up. So if anyone wants to contact us, you can email us at cetrain@isu.edu. If you want to see what we have to offer, you can visit our website at cetrain.isu.edu. And if you want to give us a call, it's 208-282-3372. Thank you so much for joining us today, and everyone be safe out there.